What a nerd.
Okay.
That attitude.
Hard working is not healthy.
You know, it
It's
really
really
cramps
not.
your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Oh, I hate
Like for
crabs.
me specifically, I got sick.
Sick of us or sick of Shanti?
No,
Yes.
so
Yes.
with work, I was outside for the entire week, and when I came to like raids and stuff, I was fucking cold still, like curled up
Shanti,
in blankets, so I can verify.
Shanti, I need you. I came up with a great idea. With a really
Okay.
great idea.
Okay.
Yeah, just come to the hut, log in. Best idea ever. And I need another gnome.
That's disgusting. We need less gnomes.
Yeah.
Ah, fuck,
There
I'm on
you go.
cooldown. Okay, wait, the portal has
I
cooldown.
only see female orcs anyway, so it's fine.
20-second cooldown. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Okay. Summon. Click.
I can probably click from outside.
Yeah, perfect.
Oh my god.
Okay, perfect. Now, so I'm just testing it with myself. Come on, please work.
By the way, Pony, we have Warlock stationed there if we need to go back
Yes!
and grab stuff.
Okay.
I'm in here.
I have
And I
8
can't-
soul shards
Also-
left up there.
X
Oh no.
whoops you. because you said you're going to do it like testing it with yourself.
Bleed
I
sniffer.
typed myself as the password. My bad,
Is
Emily.
Oswald here?
Oh, this
Oh, no.
goddamn
Uh,
torment.
Hello.
Oswald is here in Discord.
Hello.
Nice.
Hello.
So I'm peeking from inside chimney.
That's hot.
But no, okay, that's stupid since I'm recording. Not a good view. Get me out again. I
Yeah,
just
well,
wanted to know if we can trap people in there.
We only need the sound
Where's
anyway.
that? Where's that summon?
Nowhere. I will wait until my game loads. I'll go get a beer real quick.
Axe just wants to know if he can grab people against their will and put them in a place
Mhm.
where they can't escape.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on here at all?
Exactly, no. As long as you're on the gnome, you can't get out here.
No one is clicking.
Yeah, where's my what the fuck? Nobody wanted to port me?
No.
Port you?
When
Imagine
when do you
porting
want that
Axe.
summon, Pony?
I'm ready.
All right.
Wow.
Okay, nice. I mean, we have other warlocks here, so I can
No.
log out. Yes, we have. I saw Sela. Ah,
Hila has
interesting.
no shards.
Would you guys prefer if I came with Humboldt instead?
Yeah, come with your
Sure,
main,
yeah.
please. It's a guild meeting. You have to show up with your main.
Yeah, but I'm here with Belfort, but I'm leveling and chanting while I'm listening.
You bring whatever you want, cutie.
But I'm here listening.
Oh, thank you. So flattered.
Shit, that's cool. Ow.
Quite a lot of people. We need some help with summons, I think.
Oh my god, I better be summoned before army.
Ah.
And there goes the summon stone.
Perfect
It's gone.
view up here.
So, how do you like it?
Mascot of Ominous.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Stay out of my shed.
Who's
Hey,
that?
Isn't
Yes,
it Fat
guess so.
Albert? What's his name?
How do you know Fat Albert? You're not old enough, and two, not American enough.
Well, I've been exposed to a lot of American media, so.
I was impressed actually that he said
Dude,
that.
Thank you,
I never
thank you.
been exposed to enough American media.
Bye, Nord.
Oh, let me ask you what I asked Army last night. How many of you know what Toys R Us is?
Yes.
Oh, come on, come on, everyone knows.
Seriously.
Okay, so I put together a slide deck for work, and I made a joke about Toys R Us. And my boss is like, I don't think the Europeans will get that joke. And I'm like, they totally will.
What?
We had Toys R Us in Germany, or we still have.
Toys
I
R
think.
Us and BR Toys or whatever we call them in
It's
Sweden.
everywhere.
Super
So
popular.
anyhow, I now have a bet riding with my boss as to whether or not that joke will land or not in the presentation.
It will.
Full pack here.
If it lands with Warden, you're golden.
Why is it only officer summoning? is this our job now?
Hey, I was
Sorry,
clicking.
I'm already the cameraman.
Did I do?
Yeah,
I need to bring
You're a
excitement
cameraman.
to our viewers.
You are
Shit.
the cameraman.
Shit, don't click, don't click.
Rogi's already here.
Yeah, I
Oh
know.
my god, Army got a summon before me. Oh
That's
my
what I said.
god.
Bye bye, Nord.
Oh my god.
Who's Nord?
Perkele, kissan.
Oh,
Nyt
we're here.
lopeta. Pois. Pois.
Okay, I'm gonna go on home bot then. Give me just a minute. I need to
Yes.
make something very fast.
Oh.
Yeah, guys, better don't fall off here.
You're welcome, Nord.
Thank you, Army.
Bye. Have a great time.
What
What are you guys
happened?
doing?
Rip
I
gnome.
think
Hello?
Feet Sniffer just.
What? Why a
Click.
pony?
Click. Fucking hell.
No?
Is this a
Okay.
house where you buy cats?
That.
Nope.
You lost it.
No, this is some super secret place.
Wait, can you try to launch me off? I have snowfall on.
I can put levitate on you.
No, put Snowfall on me.
What
Wait,
the fuck, a
on you?
pony? Stop
Look
it.
in the map where we are. We're
Put
quite high,
Snowfall
quite high up.
on me. Hello. Put Snowfall on me. Thank you.
I love how low detail the map is here.
Remember our first guild meeting? That was cool.
So how did they
the
hold this
bank.
part here?
Yeah, in the bank. And
the
there was a
bank.
GM that was spying on us.
Back
We
when
had a
gnomes
naked
couldn't be in the
gnome.
guild.
We had a naked gnome too.
Do we have any GMs in our guild?
Yeah, we have one.
Stump, I
Guarded.
guess. He's
Any
cool.
Game
Stump is-
masters spying on us?
Yeah, I don't understand how that works. Is he a GM or what's going on? Like,
He's a player. He is a GM, but or a moderator for in game, but he is an actual player. And I'd actually messaged him on the side because I was talking about roles, and because we asked that everybody pick up some roles when they join. He's like, I prefer not, so I don't get pinged on stuff. And I was like, oh well, this role can't be pingable, and it just adds a color to your name. And then he DM'd me on the side. He's like, I mean, if it's gonna be a problem, I can leave. I just
Who
says
again?
I want to play the game. I said, oh no, don't worry about it then. You're good.
Who again? Who are we talking about?
Stump.
No.
Stump it.
So,
And Magisk is dead.
Can I get
Yeah.
a...
there's nothing new there.
Oh yeah, Feet Sniffer is here. That's awesome.
we have 2 more people we have to summon. Can we
Hell yeah.
get that going, please?
This party is popping. Look at this boy go.
Big smoke.
Probably forgot something, yeah. I'm pretty sure I forgot something.
People in the house, please click.
On.
Off you go!
Oh, there's a guy coming.
What?
Huh?
There was a guy who flew right next to him.
He was like, what the fuck is happening?
I can't even make
Oh yeah,
the
where's the
portal.
flight route? From where to where? Where did you cross here? Hmm.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, this place is really nice.
What?
Hello?
Who?
Hello,
Someone asked if we can hear him. So we can hear him, but who was it?
Frank.
Hello?
What?
Wrong.
Frank.
What?
Yeah. No, Frank, we
What?
can't hear you. Sorry.
The answer to the question, "Can you hear me?" is always no.
Yes.
Wait, who's asking? Hello?
Someone?
Can anyone hear Nord? I don't.
No,
we, can,
you cannot.
we cannot hear you, Goris. You're too dumb. You know what?
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 I put Goris and Shanty in their own party so they can have a little party discussion with each other.
Nah. I'm still
Anyway, do you guys want to start?
Is everyone here?
Boy,
Everyone who is in the raid is currently here, yes.
Dune. Can you talk for me?
Actually, yes.
Not seen, needs a summon.
Goran, Dune,
he's
talk,
here too.
talk for me.
Nice.
Come again? Oh no.
Don't do it. Let us feel special.
Sad.
Are you jealous?
I am.
Okay, people are still coming in.
I'm coming out.
But yeah, we managed to fix the priority speaker thingy. Oh, hello, who's this?
Hi, it's Gloran.
Oh hey.
Hey.
Lovely.
Hey, invite Braze, please.
no.
Invite Cooties.
Yes.
Why the mage?
Oh, just like that. No biggie.
He knows that mage is superior.
Okay, get logging on my paladin.
Shanti, I'm stuck. Help me.
No.
Someone get up here without being summoned.
Secret. It takes some time. Laniak, could you please mute yourself before we have to do it? Okay.
Hey Lanny, that's
I'm
a bit loud. Could you
sorry.
turn on push to talk, perhaps?
Okay.
Alrighty, we
Sorry.
we
Taking
ready to
care of that.
start, or do we want to give
We're still summoning.
the 10-minute? Okay.
Yeah, let's wait till 10 past then. I think that's a good time. So 4 more minutes.
Come down if you're there.
Are you elemental?
You're not falling down.
You're trying to veer poor Nord down the cliff.
Yeah, he's supposed to fall down.
Are we gonna rest Lowy scale or what's happening?
Nah.
I don't
My strategy on this duel is to bore him into submission.
Ooh, you had me a submission.
Oh, a curse! How delightful.
Really, Chantia, just banish him whenever he heals. Like right now, banish. Nope.
Don't tell him
Let's
how
heal
to
all
manage
the time,
PvP.
people.
We're just boring each other at this point. Like that's the whole point of it.
By the way, I'm just saying this. Can you guys hear what's happening outside now?
No.
Okay. I might actually have to turn off my electricity because there's a big thunderstorm over me. It's super
Oh shit!
loud.
Yikes.
In fear of my and I say this because of the fear of my equipment here, and I don't have any like insurance.
All good.
At some point, I actually have to turn off the electricity,
Yeah, no problem.
but I'll let you know. I'm still here.
Use the Discord on your phone, as I'm doing.
Use the force, Luke.
That's the same I had in mind.
Let's go! One victim to the fear.
We're gonna need to summon people back if you're gonna knock them down, by the way.
Yes. I know. I have the shards for it. Else I wouldn't do it.
Alright, good. Some people are still coming in. We'll summon them and then we'll start.
30 seconds.
You can't be feared off a ledge. What happens is you get feared to the edge, and then you move and fall. So if you just stand there, you'll run back on the edge while the
No,
fear.
he legit got feared off. He was under the fear.
Alright, let's get another portal up, please. Any free warlock for that?
We already have.
Shira's
inside the
gonna be a
house.
little late, just a warning. 10 minutes, but we'll be fine.
Come in the house, we have a bottle.
Why the house?
It's nice because you don't see where you are right away.
Yeah, it's a more of a surprise when you get out.
How do you guys even find these places? I mean,
Hacks.
Somehow. Yeah.
Friendship.
They know life
literally in the
in
middle
the
of nowhere.
PTR.
This is what you did with Levitate last night.
No, we didn't. We didn't know life the PTR.
We just walked and we saw a house and we were like, ooh, maybe we can climb there. 1 hour later, we got here.
Did Damodred get a summon?
Oh, you got me.
Hey Vard, I got a very important question.
Go ahead.
What number guild meeting is this?
Must be like 8, I think.
What level bracket was the first meeting?
49? No, 40, 39, 39.
Hello, guys.
Hey.
Yeah, I can believe 8. Damn.
We had 39 meeting, 49 meeting, 59 meeting, and then we had pre-raid meeting, and then pre-Blackwing meeting, right? And then pre-CG, and now pre-AQ. Anything else we missed? Oh, pre-AQ4, pre-AQ20 we also had one, the Scarab Lord meeting.
Yep.
You need to start a new group and split some people.
Or if people have like alts in the raid.
Yeah, kick him.
Yeah, because when we split
gold
groups
can
and people write in the raid chat, the other groups won't see it. That's... yeah. You should be on the
Yeah.
same page with chat.
Well, what if we get more than 80 members? 40 members present anyways.
That's a record and we could be proud of it, first of all. And then, I don't know. Okay, stupid. I mean, we could just simply continue using guild chat instead of raid chat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh.
Hey.
I died to thorns. Alrighty, well, we are 12 past, so we'll go ahead and get started. So thank you everybody for joining what we believe to be the 8th guild meeting. So obviously we are one of the longest standing guilds on the server. I'd like to say we are one of the top guilds because, you know, we're pretty effing awesome. We did get a chance to meet up before this meeting to go over some things. The very first thing we need to get out there, and Bard, go ahead and get ready. I want to congratulate Goris. Goris is going to be a brand new officer. He's going to be helping run stuff for
Vito.
Team 3. So congratulations, Goris.
Vito. Boo.
Vito.
Congrats, man.
He has a small PP.
Should I get huge now? Or?
But he's not a gnome. But he's not a gnome. I don't understand.
Yeah, me neither. Life sucks.
Yeah, it's because I castrated him. I mean, what?
Baby.
Congrats, Goris. You
Thanks.
undeserved swine.
Yeah.
Let's
So,
go.
there's some more stuff we do want to talk about Team 3, but we're going to wait until later in the meeting because we are going to let Team 3 or whoever is here from Team 3 split off to their own channel and talk over some things. So the first thing I want to bring up, we have floated this idea out there a few different times, but we are still having some initial talks about it. We are going to be looking at doing an advisor rank. So basically what that is, and the naming is still TBD, but basically people who have been around the guild for a very long time, they have a lot of rare patterns. Maybe they want to raid lead. Maybe they want to do some external guild stuff like tracking attendance, tracking loot, things like that. We'll be looking specifically for some of those people. It's not an officer role. I know that there's plenty of people that don't want to do officer things, but they do theory crafting. They help the guild in so many other different ways. One of the prerequisites to getting this rank would be needing to have the core status. And then outside of that, you would just become, again, what we're calling right now the advisor rank. We might have a survey or put a channel or a thread up somewhere to get some ideas on what we want to call that rank. But the only increased privileges this rank would have is maybe a little bit more G-Bank privileges to help get people with crafting things, stuff like that. Any questions or any discussion you guys want to have about this advisor rank? Any recommendations?
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty. All right.
Yeah.
You
Go
should
on.
Like homie.
The homie.
You're a bit far away, Humbuff.
Kiko is saying cooties for this role, please.
Cooties would more than likely take on this role.
Yeah, it was first thing I was thinking was cooties.
What say you in your
Anyway,
Do you have other names in mind?
Commander, I think sounds nice.
Commander.
Commander Cooties.
Commander
good.
cooties. Yeah, I guess.
That sounds amazing. Mana, it's people who've been super helpful and kind of have been taking on some more responsibility than other people. They've been helping with raid lead. They've been voicing their opinions. They have been helping people out with items, with guild bank stuff. All of these people, I think, deserve a rank.
Major Domo.
I love it. Ship it. Damn it, Chansey, you're not supposed to say the loud part out loud.
We could come up with a cool name. That's not a problem, but we will make this rank for sure. It's not a special like core plus membership or no shit like that. It's more like a officer light. Like you'll be helping out, but you're not officially an officer. Like if you don't want to do that, you don't have to be one.
Yeah. If for some reason one of these people would like to become an officer, I mean, it would probably be a no-brainer solution if that's what they wanted to do. But these would be the type of people that may have been asked at the past, or they've shown interest but don't want to take on the full responsibility. They get half of that. They don't need to worry about the administrative part. They don't need to worry about the full officer part. They can still continue to help the guild and not getting blocked because of G-Bank permissions or permissions to seeing some spreadsheet online, stuff like that.
We could name them after Boy Scout ranks and call them a Weebelo.
Love it.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'd be down to do those things because I'm just never not enough present to be officer. That's why I left, first of all. But then it's like people have different interests. Like I love leveling new characters and finding new members, and like that's does that fit in a role? Do you see that in a way, or it's strictly
No,
raid
totally.
leading and it's about raids, or is it about the general organization?
No, the entire guild. Any task that would help.
Task. All right. Okay. Thank you.
Yep.
Cool.
Does organizing campfire and AFKing in Orgrimmar count?
No.
No.
Oh, I feel like it
Sag.
does, but okay.
No, it doesn't. No, because it's if it's an idea from Chanty, it doesn't count.
Exactly. I agree.
Wait, guys, I got an idea. Could somebody that organizes Orgrimmar meetings and makes fires, does that count?
Yeah, because it's coming from you.
Oh, okay.
Give them the title Lord of the Dance.
I don't make the rules, Chanty. I'm sorry. Those are the rules.
I think you should define those sub-officer roles, so it's clear for everyone for which specific task they can apply. So, for example, everyone sees Cooley's theory crafting as something useful for the guild. So maybe just list all those sub-officer roles.
Put them in the guild notes.
Yeah. We'll probably. I know that this Discord needs a lot of love, and Axe has been hitting me with the whip, and I've just been lacking time. But we have a board section in our Discord, and I really want to build that out with just information. For most new people, it's a great starter place to get an idea of everything about the guild. But for all of us, I mean, you can pretty much just minimize it after you've gone through it, and then that's it. But it would have all that sort of information.
And I guess if you might want to become an officer, but you're still unsure if you want to become an officer, advice the new rank could be a middle part of that process.
A kind of pipeline.
Yeah, a gateway drug.
We
Gateway drug.
Gateway role. Ow! So you can try what it feels like to have a responsibility.
But yeah, we'll get a thread out there. That way we can start having some discussion in one place for everybody to give their feedback on. So moving on to the next topic, loot systems. I know that there has been mixed reviews from the get-go on our loot system. It was something that we drummed up mostly out of necessity and partially because nobody really looked into other loot systems. It's really hard to run the core member system and then pick a loot system that's out there because it didn't seem like there were any that really matched very well. That being said, maybe we picked one in haste, and we did get some people asking maybe for main spec, off spec +1, or any other thing that might be tracked that's maybe more popular. So the guild is looking into some potential replacements with what we have today. The officers have not discussed any changes to our core system. As far as attendance tracking and prioing loot to cores over non-cores, that will still be a plus. You don't want to see something drop off of, say, Ragnaros and giving it free roll to everybody. At the same time, we still don't feel that we are necessarily so hardcore that we want to run with a priority system. That being said, this would just be a default loot system that if a particular raid team didn't want to have to think of their own, they could just follow this one that's set up for the guild. That's not to say each raid team gets to pick their own loot rules. So NA has their own set of rules. I've already talked to NA individually, and it sounds like most of them are okay with the loot system, but I'm still going to push some ideas for other ones that are out there today. Team 1 is going to run with what they want to run with. Same with Team 3, and with Goris now becoming officer, there's going to be a lot more serious talks about what the loot system is going to look like over there. I'm sure some people do or don't know about some of the drama that has happened recently with Team 3. And again, we'll get into a little bit more of that as we get down through some of these other points. But we are looking at some other loot systems. We are aiming for the very first raid of TBC. I know that's still very far away, but that's the long goal. The short goal is to get it, hopefully, maybe sometime during AQ40. No promises. As far as Team 3 or any other team is concerned, if they decide that they do want to do a different system, then by all means they can. But really, we just want to look at some of the systems. And even if we don't make a decision until TBC, we're going to be a lot more informed on what is out there and what we feel would best fit with the guild as a whole. I've
you
already
take-
seen. Oh, go
Do
ahead.
you take comments?
Yeah.
Does every team have a core, or are there like core members that can go in? Let's say I'm a core member of Team 1, can't make it. Can I go to Team 2 and have priority? It doesn't work like that.
It has not worked like that in the past. The reason being, let's say that I am a very low geared, but just happen to be a core member for NA, and then I hop over to Team 1 with this core status, and a binding drops. Well, okay, binding is a bad example. Some item off of rag drops or Nef drops. I should not get the same priority, and this was the biggest reason that we made that stipulation was because we don't want to be stealing power level from an individual raid team. I'll tell you right now, if a core from another raid came to NA and an Ash Candy or Locomere drops, we have 0 Ash Candies. No, I'm sorry, we have 1 Ash Candy and we have 1 Locomere in our raid. It just doesn't drop. If the shield were to drop off a Chromagus and there was a tank helping us that rolled for it and they're core status but not a part of NA, our other tanks would get extremely furious because we don't have any. So that is the biggest reason why we have not said that the core status could fluctuate between groups. Now, if people want to talk through that, obviously EU is a little bit different because we have a lot of people jumping between Team 1 and Team 3 to help suffice with raid comp and making sure.
Sorry, I gotta jump in just a second here, opponent. I think what Finn is talking about is people that can no longer raid on a certain day and they have to move groups, which has happened recently. We have 2 people from Team 1 that schedule-wise they cannot no longer raid on Friday, so they had to be moved to Team 3, like for now. Like that's just how it is, and I think he's asking what's their priority gonna look like because they'll be forced to move. It's not like they're just helping.
Right. So I won't put my 2 cents in on that. I'll let you guys decide because there's a few things going on there. Obviously, you're going to have new people who weren't previously raiding with, in this case, Team 3. So I would ask the Team 3 officers how they feel because they know their group best. Obviously, people don't want to have more competition for loot, but at the same time, if you don't have the bodies to fill, and again, I'm not suggesting you guys don't. I don't know what the situation is. That is something that would probably want to be talked about. And maybe you talk about instead of 12 weeks, it's only or not 12 weeks. Instead of 9.5 weeks, it's 4 whatever or 5 weeks to get core status. That's a lot less of investment. You're already invested. You're already core for Team 1. So I would let you guys decide.
Because my idea behind that is if you're talking about the change of rules and and that's great because maybe there is a place to change the loot rules and they only apply for specific teams. Well, how does that fit in if you change team? If there is a uniformity between teams, that's one thing, but I guess we just got to be flexible in our way of playing. And because if rules change from Team 1 to through Team whatever 4 and NA, and then someone from those teams has to switch, then the rules have become different.
Right. And that's
you
another
just,
thing.
we just got to keep that in mind. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, for sure. And obviously, we know that Team 3 is going to be changing their loot system, or at least I'm pretty sure. I don't want to speculate. So obviously, they would have to adhere to what Team 3 has decided. It feels like there is a ginormous shift between how Team 1 operates, how NA operates, and how Team 3 operates. So I think that for everybody's best interest, if the raids talk through what loot system they want to run with, and everybody's in agreement of that, or a vast majority is in agreement, if you do end up switching, I mean, you can still voice your opinion, but just know that it's already been discussed. It's already been talked about, the merits, the pros, cons. So it's probably not going to change. But maybe you'll like that loot system better. Maybe you don't. I don't know. That's just one of the cruxes of having to move to a different team.
Okay, my personal opinion about that is that if a Team 1 member misses one raid and they temporarily have to raid on Sunday, they should not get core status. But if they permanently want to move to another team to raid with them every week, I think they should keep their core status if they can't continue to raid on Team 1 consistently.
I agree.
That's what we ran with so far, and I don't know if people agreed with it, but that's what we did because it feels unfair to these cores who just are forced to move.
So it's an exceptional situation and can be handled on an exceptional basis. We don't necessarily need to have a rule strictly applying to it. It doesn't occur that much.
No, but we have always been pretty flexible in this guild between all the raids and all the
Be
teams.
flexible and just handle that as adults, and I don't think we need to go to the specificity of actually coming up with a rule and a policy. It's just what it is. We'll handle it when it comes up. It doesn't come up very often.
All right.
Just keep in mind, TBC is coming up, and probably there's going to be an influx of new players, and we might still keep growing, and so on and so forth.
I feel like we'll be getting a couple returning players before AQ comes too. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah, probably. Alright, cool. That's cool. Maybe a pony's taking a break. I can pick up from here. I can do bits.
Oh, sorry, I keep forgetting I'm muted. I
Ah, damn. Well,
I know that. Sorry, Finn. I don't want to dive too far into that discussion because I know we've already had it, but I think that we're still of the mindset that because I know this even happens for NA. We know him as Zix. Team 1 knows him as Scroman. Team 3, I believe, knows him as Hurt. That's in that player's mind, or in his case, he is core on those 3 characters across all 3 raid groups. Those are none of his alts. Those are his mains and core members for those individual raids. He's helping fill out a slot for every single one of those raids. I know Magisk does the exact same thing. I know there's a lot of other Team 1 and Team 3 officers who run alts in other teams. We went with the mindset that these are not considered alts. These are people that still want to raid on that given day and want to be part or a core of that given raid so that there's bodies to fill. There was talks in the past, especially for some of the officers, that if the raid group starts to fill up and it's not necessarily your main raid group, for instance, Bab, Varden, they're Team 1, Axe, they're Team 1. I'm Team 2, I'm NA. I would consider that my main raid group. We might consider have them dropping from raids in order to help facilitate, growing bodies there. Not saying that is exactly what would happen, but that's some of the conclusions we came with in the past regarding that system.
Question though. Regarding the alts and the main characters, just as you said, you don't consider them alts because they're a core member in the different raid group. What for people who want to use, like, let's say no more than 2 characters or 3, depending on the person, in one raid group as their main? For example, to fill up many different roles, because not all characters can fill up all roles for that specific raid group. Because the rules we have right now, in my personal opinion, makes people make fake accounts and represent them as different people just to get core status with their alts because they really want to play on their alts. Like they don't consider their alts. They have 2 main characters or 3, and that's it. They play on all 2, 3 equally.
So for a given raid group, Liz, you're part of Team 3, is that right?
Team 1.
Team 1. Okay. So Team 1, for instance, Varden. Varden has a ton of alts. Varden is the main core raider for Team 1. Any of his other alts are considered alts at that point, regardless if they are a core member of any other raid group. If he brings, and this happens for NA as well, we're at a point of content now where people are bringing alts because their main is either geared out or they're tired of playing on that main for a little bit in this content. They want to just shift it up a little. They are somewhat deprioritized for loot compared to main raiders or core members that are still have been running that exact same content with their main character. I won't speak for the other raid groups here, but as far as NA is concerned, because we're getting in this situation a few times, a main character's off spec in terms of rolling is equal to a alternate character's main spec. So for instance, I main tank or tank a lot of our content for NA. My off spec is just caster. I don't do CAD, so either Boomkin or Tree. Yeah.
So an alt of the main character can be considered as their off spec if they're fulfilling a different role.
We would like it, and again, this could be totally different for your raid group, so you would definitely want to double check with Varden and the other officers. But as far as the general guild rule goes, you have one main spec and you have one main character per raid group. I know that there are people that fill roles. I heal or DPS a lot depending on what we need. I might not necessarily tank for a given night. I don't take the healing and DPS gear from people as a main spec role. I will always roll that off spec, even if I was healing or DPSing half the time. If any of that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. That's what I was asking. Thank you.
Yeah, because you're a druid, right?
Yes, I'm a druid main.
Yeah. Chalk it up to hybrid curse.
Druid Pearl tank main.
Yep.
And my off spec, honestly, I don't consider my druid being an off spec. My off spec would be a healing priest, but that's why I asked that specific question. Though, regarding me personally, I'm gonna agree with whatever raid group I'm in. Their rules and all. I like this guild, so it doesn't matter that much to me. Just asking for the general knowledge.
Yep, I gotcha. And to give some voice to what
Really
Cooties and Army
quiet,
are talking about.
Bonnie. What did
Sorry,
you
what
say?
was
As Varden was holding his push to talk.
Oh, Varden, did you have something?
Varden is proud speaker right now.
Oh, I was muted. I'm so sorry. I was gonna say there have been cases where people who wanted to actually switch their mains, we allowed them to do that if they were dedicated enough and just wanted to switch. That's also possible if you find it hard to use a certain character.
Yeah, and especially if that class is needed. However, we might not be so happy about it if you change it to a spec that isn't that viable. Like for example, Goran wants to switch to Feral, but thankfully he still helps on Goran for the raids in the classic, which is nice because he does a lot of DPS.
Yes, my question was primarily directed to the people that want to have their off spec as a different character. Because I don't like healing with the druid, but I like healing off spec. I prefer healing with the priest.
Oh, so you wanna count your alt's main spec as your off spec, kind of, is what you're saying?
Yeah, kind of.
They're already equal, aren't they?
They're supposed to be equal.
Yeah, alt off spec and alt is usually the same on the same level on rolling. On what?
Sometimes we prioritize a core off spec over an alt main spec if that core's off spec is very useful for the raid.
This is again some stuff that actually needs to be put to the rules, like in writing and stuff, because it's created these arbitrary situations where you at one time prefer the other and some other time the another.
Yeah, that's when the loot council comes in. Like we judge from the situation because people don't use their off spec a lot. Like people use their off spec different amount of time, and people don't always play on their alt. So like, it's always a different situation. So that's when we need to judge with loot council and discuss it.
Each raid can probably decide for themselves how that's going to be sorted.
Yeah, you need to judge every individual situation for that.
Yeah, I mean, we have a very loose set of rules to help facilitate how loot should be handled, especially when you start talking. Like, you add so much complexity when you have people's off specs, and then you start adding alts into the mix. It's very hard. So we have very general rules. It should cover the majority of the time. When it doesn't, that's when we need to kind of start talking loot council-y and figuring out what would be best. I mean, we want to try to take out the drama from loot distribution as much as possible, but it's always going to happen. There's going to be drama around loot. We try to do our best, and one of the biggest stipulations we've talked about is having as much conversation about it up front before the item is given out, so that everybody is made aware of why that decision is happening, and then everybody hopefully had their ability to put their 2 cents in, and then everybody's happy about it. I know it doesn't always happen that way, but that is what our main goal is when it comes to loot distribution.
Yeah, like Bourbon said,
quite happy
all that
with it.
matters is that it's beneficial to the raid group. Like, that's what comes first in that case.
And I hope we stick to that.
Yeah, for sure. And again, once each raid group has had their 2 cents on loot systems and it's been put to the test, we can start to shift some of those weird cases as best as possible and documenting them as such.
How the fuck are we up here? I wasn't here at the beginning. You guys explain how
You
did
can
get up
walk
here?
through. You can walk to burning steps and jump down.
Oh, okay, thanks.
No problem.
I have a question about loot.
Yeah, go ahead.
If we have one person that's been going for a while in a specific raid and needs only one item, and he's a core member, and then there are 4 other people that need it, like it's based for all of them, then what are the criteria? Is it just the core status and role, or are there some other
Can you repeat the beginning again,
valuables that
please?
are to be taken into consideration?
Right. I get your question. You're basically saying that there's somebody that's only needs one item, or maybe they've been around a long time. They'd really like that item, but obviously it's a hot contested item. Current rules do not dictate that, regardless of how long you've been a core or the fact that you only need one more item prioritizes you over anybody else. I know that is kind of a sucky answer, but some people, especially for like the healers of the NA team, Locomir just doesn't drop. It's always going to be a hot contested item. If somebody hit their 9th week and became core the next day and it drops, again, I know a lot of feelings are going to be hurt, but they technically are allowed to roll. That being said, we will talk through it. We especially for NA, again, I won't speak for the other teams. We're going to talk through it and we'll say, hey, listen, you just became core. On top of that, maybe this is a newer person. They were never geared, so we just geared the hell out of them the last 9 weeks. We'll say, is it all right if you pass this because we've geared you out? There's people been waiting on this. Again, I know it's not the best rule, but it's a clear cut, no weird instances rule that just covers everything. But again, teams can change those. Individual teams can decide what they want to do for their loot rules going forward.
And did you talk about in whose hands the item will be most valuable, like for the whole group?
We do talk about that occasionally. The thing is, with the current content, once we had Blackwing Lair on farm and completing it in like right around the hour mark, we get to a point where we don't really need that or have to worry about that.
Yeah, I mean, for the raids that are gonna be hard.
Yeah.
in
Now
the
we still
future.
talk about, like, for instance, one of the hotter topics is this going to be better for a healer long term, or is it going to be better for a caster? Because casters also have to look at hit loot. So
Yeah.
we do have those discussions.
All right.
Good evening, everyone.
Hi,
Hello, Shiro.
Hey, Shiro.
I missed the beginning. Yeah, I assume that there was some talk about the Team 3 loot system and stuff.
A little bit. Axe is recording. And
Yeah,
Take it from there.
Whoa, now it's getting loud.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you can watch it as soon as I've uploaded
Okay.
it.
Thank you. Then I'm not gonna ask what.
We haven't discussed loot system yet. We just, in general, had a couple people ask a couple questions. That's it.
The most important thing from you, Shiro, is Goris is now an officer.
Oh, nice.
Very nice.
Wait, before we move on, I have to do this as well.
What?
One got muted.
Yeah.
I think it's about time. Holy's been gone for a while. I'd say we demote him for now, and we try to get some new officers later.
What happened to him?
We don't know.
Okay.
Last message in Discord was the end of August. He had mentioned to me a long time ago, like this was probably back in like April, May. He said that around the fall time he might have to take a very small break, but he didn't like elaborate what that meant.
Yeah.
That was the last time that I'd heard about it.
Who are we talking about?
Holy Woman.
Oh, okay, right.
If he comes back, he'll certainly be welcomed back.
Yep.
No hard feelings. Life is how it is.
Gotta feel.
All right. Well, barring any further discussion, especially for Team 3's future loot system, does anybody else have any questions or anything else you want to discuss about loot? And I will throw this out there. I know that, and I'm going to put him on the spot, Cooties was working on a small document in terms of proposals for various loot rules. So same deal. Probably spin up a thread in that so we can
Can
keep
I
a
interject
discussion.
here and just say, can we
Yeah.
pool some money and pay Cooties for his work, or?
No, it's fine.
Cooties make a Patronite or whatever.
If everyone gives like $5.
Yeah, like the something with the. You know, there's a lot of sides when we can found you.
Make an OnlyFans.
Yeah, make an OnlyFans.
Make a throne, actually.
There's gotta be a lot of guys watching you.
Hell yeah, buddy.
Hell yeah.
I guess I got something on loot, kinda. I was gonna say people need to start making their lists and like discussing loot more instead of like. I know I put out stuff for like people to look at, but there was like no conversation. Well, there was some conversation, but people need to be a little bit more aware of things. Like if you rolled on an item that gets replaced on like the next boss, then that item just kind of goes to the wayside.
Yep.
Basically, read a book.
I think it's very. There's no discussions because we all know that Cootie's word is law.
Pretty much.
I agree.
In other words, know your business, guys.
Yeah, or at least keep something on hand to kind of give you an idea of what you should be looking for. Like trying to ask, oh, what does this boss drop? Doesn't really look good when we're like trying to explain stuff and do the fights and all that. And then the whole conversation, once it does drop, is like 10-15 minutes. It's a waste.
Is
I
it
just
good?
want to
for
come
most
in
people?
and say there is a nice add-on called Atlas Loot. Learn to
Yeah,
focus.
that's what I was going to say too. Just download it, man. Just keep looking at loot. It's fun, you know. You go there, you see what a boss drops, and oh, that's cool. That's a nice item.
I waste way too much time in Atlas Loot just looking at the items. That will
Yes,
never drop.
same.
Drooling.
But after all, it's worth it.
Yeah, it's very hard
Checking
for
my biz list for RAF or TBC or
Yeah,
whatever.
download Atlas Loot, and instead of playing Pego or looking at your smartphone while you're on a flight path, just look at Atlas Loot for what you need, and you end up knowing exactly what you're gonna.
Yeah,
Bit of knowledge.
because it's very hard for officers to know everyone's biz, so we can easily make mistakes and give people an item that they don't really need. Sometimes that could happen. Like the loot council is not only officers. Like anyone can say, "Hey, this is not your biz. This would be better for this person." Like a normal person can say it. An officer doesn't have to say that.
It's a democracy, not corruption.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think we're just going to move on to the next topic then. And again, especially if you are a raid leader or for each officer that is in a particular raid group, have those conversations maybe for the first 15 minutes of your next raid just to talk through some of these things. Again, we're going to get to Team 3. That is one of the bullet points. So we'll just keep on going. I wrote a bullet point down for Team 4, but I'm going to let Vard or whomever else talk about Team 4.
All right, so for a long time we've been talking about making a Team 4 raid. We have a lot of influx of new people, and I'm guessing with the TBC coming and with AQ around the corner, like, oh yeah, guys, I forgot to mention the war effort is done for the people who don't know. So in a week we'll be able to bang the gongs, and next week we will be doing AQ40, which we'll get to later. But for now, we wanted a Team 4 to be made because there's a lot of people who don't get to raid. We started seeing like 30 signups for Team 1 last week or this week, like huge turnout, like it's insane. We need to provide another space for people to raid, and we for the longest time felt like a Team 4 would be the best idea for that we had a new team be made, so people don't have to be kicked and not have the chance to raid that week. That sucks. So we were thinking that on next Saturday that we try to get one rolling, and we start with Blackwing Lair because it's actually easier than Molten Core. You people who were here with us, you know how tough Molten Core is with the brand new fresh 60s. Like, it's not easy. Tanks die, and you need a bunch of shit just to beat it. But if we start with Blackwing, it'll be a lot easier. So we're gonna have the idea is to have it on Saturday and just have them do a Blackwing. We're gonna try to get that set up, but we need a raid leader for it. We will also need to see who's interested in joining on Saturday. But we also have to talk about, with AQ coming now, we actually also have to talk about when are we gonna have the raids? When are we doing AQ? Or what are we doing with Molten Core and Onyxia? What's gonna happen with those raids and Blackwing Lair? We have to talk about that stuff, and we have a few plans in mind. But as Team 4 is concerned, we'll have Team 4 start on Saturdays, and they'll be doing Blackwing primarily. And if people have extra characters they want to come and help out with, or just come gear your character. If you want one of your alts to become a core, this is your chance to become a core on a new team here. So think about it. Like, you have a whole week to think about if we want to have a Team 4 on Saturday. If you want to come, like, do tell us. Like, we're open for any suggestions. Even if Saturday isn't good, tell us about it. Like, if you want to join this team, we can make it happen. We did it when the Scarab Lord when we did the Scarab Lord, we actually had a Molten Core Pug on Saturdays, and it worked fine. So I feel like we can make a Blackwing group on Saturday. What do you guys think? Anyone, just speak up. I want to know.
Yes, in capital letters.
Is it gonna be mainly EU people?
I mean, most of the player base is EU, so if we want this to succeed, I think it has to be an EU team.
Well, Saturday kind of makes it possible for NA and EU to meet up, so that's cool.
Yeah, that's true.
In that case, we'll have to make it later, but I want to know how many NA people even want to come to the Team 4 if we make one then. Like, right. I want to hear about this. There's plenty of new people that also want to raid, so we need to bring everyone in to this.
I can't guarantee you're going to get a lot of bodies from NA because we do technically run some quote-unquote off raids or the 20-mans on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
For the most part, we're very busy right around this time with normal day-to-day stuff, so we raid later.
Yeah, that's why I figured we should do it at a regular EU time. We'll have more turnout that way. And even if we don't fill up at the start, it's going to start off as a POG, and then it'll slowly become its own team. Just like we did with the Tuesday raid, it's going to happen here on Saturday.
That's a good idea. Start it as a POG, and then, people engage themselves and they stay there. That's cool.
To give a little bit of voice to what Kiko's question, the problem, Kiko, is most of us are adults that have 9-to-5 jobs, so it's
Yeah.
very, very difficult to get 25 people that just magically happen the exact same day available on a weekday. Your best opportunity for a weekday raid would be the 20-mans. Honestly, it's things that you can walk in with partial, well-geared characters and alts and still do fine.
Yeah, maybe we should bring up. Maybe we should transition into the next topic actually, and it's with AQ40 coming now. Which dates do we want to do these raids now? Like Team 1 and Team 3, for example. When do we want to do AQ40? On the main day? And what are we doing with the other raids? I have a plan myself. I just want to hear your opinions before I mention it.
I'll be honest, I always thought that we would move like AQ40 to like Friday and just have like Saturday for the rest of the stuff, like MC and Blackwing, and maybe Oni if it's still needed by some people. That's what I always thought is going to happen.
I had
So,
the
yeah.
same thought as Shante, that Friday 14-1 example would be the main raiding day for AQ40. And the rest would be moved.
And make the other raids optional.
Yes, our plan is actually to get rid of Onyxia altogether, and we're gonna move Molten Core and Blackwing Lair outside of the main day. And I'm thinking we're gonna merge Team 1 and Team 3's MC to one separate day, because not a lot of people want to do it anymore, but the people that do still want the gear from there want to come. So I figured if we merge Team 1 and Team 3's Molten Core to a separate day, they can do that. And then if we want one extra day of normal raiding, what we'll do is we'll continue AQ40, and then we'll do a quick Blackwing Lair on the second day of raiding for Team 3 and Team 1. Like, for example, Team 3, if you want to do, I mean, we're most likely going to do AQ40 on Sunday, right? You all want to do the main content, progression, right? Full progression raid.
Absolutely.
So the idea is if we don't beat Cthulhu on the first day, what we'll do is we'll take the next day and we'll do a quick Blackwing Lair, and then we finish AQ40 at the end of the day. That's my plan. Same with Team 1. They'll do the same thing, but on a Saturday. What do you think of that, people?
Sounds pretty good.
The only problem I see is that if we're talking about Team 3 doing it the next day, that would be Monday. So Team 3 might not have all the people.
Yeah, that's what sucks about that. So either they have to beat AQ on the first day, or they might not finish it. But we've done it before where we did finish it on a Monday. I've seen it before.
What if for like the first couple weeks of progression raids, we do the main raids one day before, so we can save the main raid day for all day for progression?
In that case, we have to all do a survey and check with people if they can raid on Saturday in Team 3 at least.
So just to get it out of the way, so people don't have to like spend another day, because it's not understood if if you don't clear a queue, then you have to go do the main raids the next day. It's too much of a like variable. So if you have a set date just to get the gear to help progression for AQ, you want it on a previous date, not a further date.
Okay, so you want to do the quick Blackwing Lair first and then go to progression is what you're saying would be better.
Not necessarily on the same day, but like not in the same raid time, but like a prior day. So like say Saturday will be for Team 3's Sunday raid, and that day we're gonna do all the previous raids to get gear upgrades if we can, and then Sunday we're just gonna spend all day on progression.
I mean, that could be hard because the reason Team 3 was made is that people could only raid on Sunday. That's how it started. So, like I said, we have to check with people. I don't know if that's possible. We will for sure do progression on the main day, though.
Also, we have
Sorry.
no idea how hard will be AQ40.
We don't know.
So yeah, that's why I'm saying. So it's not useful to plan so far ahead when we could just easily clear it
I don't think we will. From other people who have been talking in Discord, there was back when like Synergy was testing it and whatnot. It was like pretty undertuned, so the devs like super overtuned it, but then no one tested it after that. So it's gonna
Yeah,
it's gonna
because
be pretty
Synergy
broken.
left because they got mad. Anyways.
Yeah. For a brief history, MC was somewhat of a pushover. Granted, we were wearing blues, so it was a little bit challenging. Blackwing Lair, every raid group, except NA, but we got screwed over on Bug, finished Blackwing Lair that same week. And then I think I even saw somewhere that a dev literally said, well, we went the opposite. Instead of trying to make it harder, starting easy, we went stupid hard and then have tried to make it easier because they wanted to give us a challenge. So
Yeah, if anybody remembers Ubers, that's pretty much what they've been doing.
Oh no.
yeah.
Remember that when we're at level 64, we're gonna be still doing AQ40, so we'll get the loot eventually.
Yeah. Pretty
Funny
much.
enough, there are still better items in AQ40 than you get in
Yeah.
the 64 bracket, so might as well. Alrighty. Well, regarding possibly swapping Team 3's days, Team 3 raids tomorrow, and Goris can help drive some of that discussion that you guys have tomorrow in terms of knowing that this raid is going to be challenging and the unlikelihood of finishing it in 1 week. Maybe it's worth switching, not tomorrow, but the following raid to 2 days. That way you guys do have the ability to run it. That gives everybody a week of notification to be available either that Saturday or that Monday or whatever day you guys decide to either start or pick back up.
Don't they want the vanilla experience of going in and banging your head for 4 or 5 hours and only getting one more boss? It's
But I still remember the Domo one.
Oh yeah, Major Domo.
I mean,
But I
we
mean,
would- when we did AQ40, it took us 3 months just to get to the twins.
Oh my god.
Mhm.
This is the future you chose, people.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That was 3 or 4 raid nights a week at 3 or 4 hours per raid night, and it took us months to get to the twins.
Any issues?
It was just hard. Finding 40 people who can, tie their shoes is apparently challenging too.
I still can't tie my shoes.
That's why it's challenging.
I should also point out we were one of the top raid guilds on the server. It's not like we were the crap guilds. Like we were with the best on the server.
The crap guilds.
Alright, thanks people. See you.
Later,
See ya.
Bye.
Good luck.
But yeah, going back to the topic of raid days, I feel like most people agree that on the main raid next week we will be just doing AQ and nothing else. I feel like that's the consensus here.
Yep.
Sounds good to me.
Yes.
Instead of asking everyone if they are okay with that, maybe ask if someone is not okay with that. I guess that would be less people.
I really feel like I haven't gotten enough of Blackwing Lair yet.
Well, talk with NA about that.
Do we know how scripted is Anchorage 40?
No.
It's like
Where-
sort
No,
of.
we are going in blind.
Exactly.
Because some people said on PTR that it's a bug fest.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it is.
That's
I mean,
the
it's
fun part.
AQ.
That's what we like.
Yeah, if you
You
think
are
about
not
it,
here to you are not here to see the major double bugs.
Also, I
So,
mean, that's
yeah.
why. Remember, that's why we are on this server. The server is still to work on the core. Yeah. Test and work on the core.
Which brings up a good point. For these first few, probably couple of weeks, we should set a time that we're going to do this and stick to that time, because bugs will probably prevent progression, and you're not sure what that bug is. Some fights might not be doable. So if you stretch it out for immense amounts of time, that's just going to beat on people for no reason. So we should expect that.
Yeah, and Murderer has a good point here. When Blackwing started, we actually did only Blackwing on progression day at the start. Then when we started having it on farm, we combined the raids because it went quicker and quicker. So we can afford doing MC plus Blackwing on the same day now. We expect the same thing will happen with AQ. Eventually, if we get good enough, get enough upgrades, we start doing the content, we can actually clear it in one day. We may just combine Blackwing and AQ to the same day, but at the beginning we won't. At the beginning we'll focus all of our attention on only AQ40. That's gonna be all we do on that one day. We'll still have the off days to do other stuff. We just gotta decide on which days we'll do what stuff.
I was not here from the beginning, but did you guys say anything about Zul'Gurub? How we will raid Zul'Gurub?
Zul'Gurub will be. We'll try to make it twice a week, but it's gonna be on weekdays, just so we get enough idols for all of our upgrades that we need from AQ, and of course mount drops. And there's still good loot there, but we're gonna be trying to do 2 CGs a week for EU on weekdays. So like a Monday and maybe a Thursday. Like just so we can get the idols we need on our mains once we start getting upgrades. I feel like that's fair, right? People want more idols. We're gonna need the enchants.
Yeah. And part of that is going to be up to your individual raid groups. For NA, at least, I'm going to try to get our ZGs back running on Friday once we have AQ on farm, and then only go for idols and mounts, and then try to do a follow-up on Monday since it should always be reset by that time.
Yeah, and I can elaborate also. The reason we're doing AQ twice a week right now is because we've had shit luck with the enchants. We don't have it. The only one we have is Shadow Power. But once we start doing AQ40, we'll be getting those enchants anyway. So we're gonna tone down AQ to only once a week maybe, or 0 times a week. But for now, I think once a week sounds good, and then 2 CGs a week sounds good. But they're all gonna be on weekdays, so they're not mandatory. Just come there if you need or want stuff from there. We're only gonna be counting the main raids attendance still, like reminder. But I feel like most of you agree that we want to do CG twice a week now that AQ comes, right? Like, as many chances for idols as possible is good for us.
Yeah. I mean, you can put the signups up, and we'll know for sure if people are or aren't doing it.
People tend to under sign up for those, and they just show up anyway. Like, we don't care. Like, it's fine. Like, but I don't count on the signups being like a reflection of who's gonna come that day when it comes to the
See the
side
sign up
raid.
more like a reminder that there is something going on, probably.
Even if you do not need the idol or do not have the beast item for the idol yet, especially with AQ dropping out, probably we will probably prioritize the idols for people with AQ gear, if it's possible. But even if you do not meet those criteria, just bring your ult. Like ZG, we can easily do ZG with ults. There's no problem, and you can still get some decent loot out of there.
Yeah. Also, we did forget to mention one thing to Shiro is that the new rank we were thinking of doing.
Oh. What's the new rank?
Yeah. We're still discussing it. Tentative name is the advisor rank, and they'll be not officers, but people that might fill out other roles that the guild needs, like master crafters, theory crafters, managing attendance, managing loot drops, and possibly even raid leading. Prerequisite would be that you are actual core status before you can hit advisor.
Test, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna try and mute it.
Alrighty. Any other questions or discussion you guys want to have on the individual raid days? Alrighty. Next item for AQ40 is the nature resist gear preparation. I'm sure you guys have been seeing it for the past few weeks now. People dropping gear lists and recommendations, and people asking for nature resist gear. If you are a melee, and even some ranged might want to consider having a set just in case you don't have enough melee to cover Princess Huron. And I don't know, maybe Cooties or somebody else knows. Do we know what the number of people targeted by her poison bolt volley is?
It depends on the dev and what they want to do. Naturally, it's 15.
15, yeah. 9, okay.
Yeah, it was
So-
15 out of 40 classically, but yeah.
Yeah.
I posted it.
Oh, it's 9.
So they did change it? Alright, then yeah, melee is the only one that's really going to be worrying about that.
Does every team have 9 melees? I mean, if you count tanks and melee DPS, how many do we have?
Well, and you can't even go by that because, especially for NA, there's been raids where we've had maybe 5 melee, not including tanks. So it shifts. So we're going to need 9 people, or sorry, 9 minus your tanks. Your tanks are probably going to get full nature resist no matter what. 9 minus your tanks to have a decent enough nature resist set.
Quick question.
Yeah.
Are pets counted?
I doubt
No.
it.
No, pets are not counted for the volley,
that's
but they
fine.
are counted, I think, for the sleep.
Okay. So yeah, if you are a melee and possibly a ranged person that wants to carry another set of gear, you might want to start looking at some poison resist items that make sense for you. If for some reason your raid group only walks in with 3 tanks and 4 melee DPS, you're going to need another, if I did my math right, one person that's ranged that also has the poison resist.
Probably it's easiest to get on hunters. Just combine the mail and leather sets, and you are Gucci.
Yeah. My
Speaking
recall-
about the mail sets, I will drop two entire sets into the guild bank later today.
Okay.
Thank you.
I actually have all of those items because our G Bank kind of filled up on resistance items. So if you need an item, if you need a particular slot, please hit up the Guild Bank channel in Discord and I'll see if I have it. I also have a lot of random roll greens that I can hand out. They're probably not as good as some of the blue items, but if you're really looking to fill in a slot in a pinch, I probably have it, especially rings. Rings, however, hopefully you get in for one world boss and are able to pick up the engulfed object that gives you a 20 resist ring with stamina, and then there's a quest in Silithus where you turn in I think a signet and you can get another 20 resist ring with stamina.
You turn in an Abyssal Scepter, and we only have 6 of those now. We have to kill the hardest level Silithus High Council boss to get one of those.
Okay.
Or buy it off the H, which is what I did.
For how much?
It was like 300 gold or something.
Maybe we can use some guild bank funds for that.
Did we talk about there's a quest line in CC that also gives you pants? Pretty good pants.
Yeah. In Silithus, if you talk to it's like a male Night Elf commander guy in the little house with a balcony. He's standing on a balcony. It's called like Dearest Natalia or something. If you follow that quest line where you have to question dwarves and stuff, you get really good nature res pants. You should do that quest now if you haven't. You have a whole week to do it. So go to Silithus and get your nature res pants. Super good, free blue pants. Do we have a list of like which items melees get? Like what you should strive for? Which slots you use? Because maybe people can't ask for guild bank items if they don't even know what they need.
That's generally what I've been advising is like doing a little bit of research. I'd advise using like 80 upgrades and using the preset weights rather than just adding nature resistance like 10 or like the highest or whatever. Just so it sorts out what gear could be good for you, but also has nature resistance on it.
I've been looking at nature resistance gear, but I don't know it by heart what melees actually use myself.
We talked about it with Cooties and I think it was
We've been
Dune
talking about that.
the IT channel the other day, and I think Cooties posted like some 80s upgrade link.
Oh, that's nice.
Should be the same for Reds and Warriors.
Yeah,
But not Shaman.
one,
I
but
did
it
a
also
list for
had like
Shaman. I will share it for you.
Yeah, could be close for Shaman.
What about rogues? Do rogues have one too?
I didn't make anything for them. Like I said, it's kind of like class based because if you're assassin rogue, you need like 17% spell hit you want to aim for. You're generally not going to get it, but versus like combat rogue, which already has like hit and talents, and they get a ton of hit, they can sacrifice a lot more hit items. So it's kind of on like a per class basis.
If you're a rogue, you can message Bonehead. I hooked him up with a guide, a loot list. I also crafted him some gear, so he should have a pretty good idea on what items you might want to pick up.
What Intimidator did is he asked Team 3 to DM him how much nature S you got and show him your set, and so that he knows what you need too. That could be good if we know everybody's status on how much nature S you got. Please show your sets. Like we want to know what you need.
I'm
Look at me
assuming
right
that
now and see
Intimidator
what-
will not be joining the meeting since he's not here yet.
I haven't heard anything from him. He might show up soon. Maybe he's late working or something.
Did you guys talk about Cold Rage Dagger yet?
Not yet.
Go farm it.
Yeah, everyone, go farm Cold Rage
Get two of them.
Dagger. Very nice. And if you're a paladin
dagger?
who can't use daggers, we have Hammer of the Northern Wind in the guild bank. It also deals frost damage and it's a mace, one-handed mace.
Yesterday I dropped a two-handed sword which deals frost damage.
Yeah, so everyone
Into the
needs to
guild
go
bank.
farm RFD, raise your friend down. The last boss drops Cold Rage Dagger. If you're a melee, and if you're a caster, I guess you can use any frost one. I don't know if they work.
I don't think they do. They count as physical, right?
Yes,
Yeah, what was the
once
conclusion on that?
once count as physical in rat.
Yeah, they
So you
count as
have-
physical, but it might still work.
That's just
Yeah.
something that we're gonna have to test.
Yeah.
That only stemmed from one comment in Wowhead that the devs didn't really agree to take as truth. Because there's one comment in like the Citus that was saying that their wands was frost damage, but it wasn't affecting the frost count. But nothing else was mentioned. There's no testing.
see.
So I think the devs are going to consider changing it to have wands be their school class damage.
But maybe what casters can do, they can maybe equip a dagger anyways and go just bonk the boss.
Yeah, exactly. Just go the safe
Come on,
route,
come
you know.
I think the frost isn't the biggest issue. I think it's the physical 75. Like everyone has to run it on 75 for the physical attacks. But casters don't necessarily need to all have the frost ones, but all melee should and tank should.
Okay.
With the 25 people, it'll go, I mean, even at like 10 with melee or whatever, it goes by pretty quickly. It's just the physical attacks is kind of the sketchy one because it's a shorter window.
So while we're all talking about resistances, can I just give a shout out to some shadow resistance? Have one caster from each main raid deck themselves out in shadow resist and tank one of the twin bosses.
I think
You
need two,
actually,
right?
actually, I was about to say that when we got it, but you actually need two casters to tank it because the boss focusing teleports between themselves. So yeah.
I know in Team 1, Shanti's been collecting a tanking set. I don't know if any other caster in Team 1 has. What about Team 3? Do you guys have one?
NA does.
She's almost kinda done.
Who?
Echoes?
Me?
I mean, I'm pretty
Oh.
sure we can in at least in Team 1 we can try to use the Holy Paladin with a Warlock.
Yeah.
So in
So
terms of
that's
warlock,
either me or Baki.
in terms of warlocks, the teleport is timed. You can do your what is it, Curse of Doom, time it, and by the time he teleports, the Curse of Doom will go off and get your threat again.
Nice.
Okay, then we need to remind someone who can tank the Twin Emperor. We need to remind people that we need more people to tank him. gather a resistance and stamina set. You're gonna need that.
I see now that some of the tier 1 and tier 2 paladin set have shadow res on them.
Yes, they do.
And you can also equip the shadow laced blah blah blah. You know, the trash chest from
Shadow Lace Gherkin.
Yeah. That's like 25 stamina, 30 shadow resistance for that would be good for Holy Paladin if they want to tank.
I don't think the other physical tanks need the shadow resist. It was just for the caster and the warlock.
Yeah, we're talking about the one who will tank the other twin. Like we need 2 casters, preferably 2 warlocks, but we could try other stuff if you get your set ready already.
A Holy Paladin. With
Yeah, a Holy
Shock.
Paladin. You can actually taunt as a Holy Paladin. You can activate the Rage's whatever and just heal yourself, and that should generate a lot of threat.
Yeah. And also Holy Shock does a chunk of damage.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's not really gonna work. Cause wait, which boss are you talking about?
The
The one that,
Yeah, I know,
the one
but
that,
the
the one
reason you
that is
have
tanked by the warlock, basically.
yeah, you can't. Yeah, okay. I mean, just having a warlock spam Searing Pain is pretty much enough.
I mean, the reason you want 2 casters is because you cannot move next to the boss, right? That's the reason.
It's mostly because you know, like when they're close to each other, they
Yeah,
heal.
you want to
And they-
separate the bosses, right?
Yeah, but they also
Yeah.
teleport, so you have
Yeah,
to
they
walk
teleport.
between that. So that's why you want 2. You want like one on
Yeah.
one side and one on the other side, just
Yeah.
for the teleport. So you don't
And the
have to
reason
move.
you have to have a
also gonna be-
caster. Go
Sorry,
ahead.
go ahead.
Okay, I was gonna say the reason you have to have a caster like a warlock on the shadow one is because they're immune to physical attacks, and the physical one is immune to magical attacks. That's why you have to have a physical tank and a caster tank.
So what? Enhancement Shaman is useless.
Halfway, depending on what boss they're on.
To be fair, same is for the Red Paladin.
Yeah, they're half and half.
So, this is kind of going off of, oh crap, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so DPS, especially caster DPS, we need to like make sure they know to stop DPS so the warlock can, you know, if it's gonna be a warlock, to get the threat back again, because that's gonna cause a wipe if they don't.
If it's going to be a warlock tanking, it's not going to be a problem because Searing Pain does shit ton of threat.
I mean,
Especially
no,
if it's taking the
Echoes.
Even if it's
Echoes.
few seconds.
Usually, what you do is that you have a tank with this warlock, and the tank just taunts the boss when the boss teleports, and the warlock just takes over with Searing Pain. The tank does not go next to the boss. They just taunt and they wait for the warlock to take over with Searing Pain.
I do have a question though. When they wipe threat, he doesn't wipe his debuffs, right? The warlock will still have a bunch of dots on him.
Yeah, that's why I was saying Curse of Doom. So basically what the warlock would do is, well, first we need to figure out when, because the teleport is on a timer.
It's
So you
every
put
30 seconds, so Curse of Doom will
wait
pretty
for,
much not
okay,
work.
can I finish talking? Thank you.
Sure.
So you wait until he teleports, and then the Curse of Doom will go off, and hopefully it'll go off like fairly instantly, and that'll give you a lot of DPS threat.
The problem might be if he teleports. I mean, if he teleports to the other side of the room, and there is the other tank that is supposed to catch the boss. If the Curse of Doom goes out, then the boss will run through the entire instance, go to the spot where he's not supposed to be, and yeah, I'm
Yeah,
not
that's
sure.
why
if
you need 2 of them. You just stay there.
Okay,
Yeah, I
You
so
know.
don't
hang on,
move when
hang
the
on.
boss moves.
Hang on. The intention of the fight is that it is a coordination fight, not a DPS check, not a
Yes,
gear check.
Exactly.
So the
If
intention,
anyone-
hang on. The intention of it, you don't have to get clever with spells or timing or anything like that. When they teleport, everyone just has to stop DPS, and that warlock just needs to be the first one to beat on his ass to get aggro, and then you just have to have people coordinated. That's the test of it.
Not even that. Not even that. You just have a tank sitting next to each warlock, and they just taunt, and the warlock takes over with the Searing Pain. That's it. Like the taunt has, you don't need to be next to the boss to taunt it.
No, but it's a coordination fight. It is.
Yes, it is.
That's it. So that's the challenge of it. It's going to probably be a little more challenging for people on this server as they haven't had those types of coordination fights nearly as much, because like the Blackwing Lair fights in vanilla were a bunch of tank swapping and a bunch of things like that. We haven't had to do any of that, right? It used to be that's the way it was. So we'll see how the admins and the developers, put it together. It may not be like vanilla. It probably won't be, but we'll have to see and adjust from there.
To be fair, if anyone ever raided the Naxxramas, the 80 version, or even the vanilla Naxxramas, it should be somewhat similar to the Four Horsemen.
So
Oh,
this
easy
is
kick.
a topic that's actually kind of important because you guys are kind of forgetting. So for a warlock tanking this boss, we are trading in a lot of our gear, a lot of our spell power, and a lot of our hit for that shadow resistance. So when
Actually,
you guys are
Echoes.
saying, "Oh yeah, just do Searing Pain," a lot of that might be missing, and it's not going to be pumping as hard, and it's not going to be gathering as much threat as a caster who's going to be going balls deep, trying to DPS the boss.
About that,
One thing
about that,
People will
about
have to
that.
control their threat.
Yeah,
Yeah, and about that.
Yes, Echoes is right. We have to learn to chill and stop attacking, for sure.
Could you please let Shanti talk? You wanted to say something
Echoes,
too.
about to saying that warlocks will need to like sacrifice spell power and hit. Not really. You need like only like 5 pieces from tier 2 set, and then you have your Voidwalker shield and you have Shadow Ward. That should be pretty much enough. If you don't, you can also add the runed Stygian pieces you can craft as well. But usually the 5 set and the shield from your Voidwalker and Shadow Ward should, in theory, be enough to let you survive.
One thing that should generate more threat is the PvP gloves, because they have this amazing special effect that gives you a 50% chance to avoid interruption when you cast Searing Pain. So you should get those gloves, because then you will get less pushback when you tank.
I only got 2 parts on this. I was gonna add. Chanty is kind of right on the Doom timing. It isn't gonna work because every 35 seconds is when they teleport, and Doom takes a minute to tick off. So it'd be kind of a weird timing. It might work like every second teleport. But also, I would expect most warlocks that are gonna tank are gonna have an off-spec Destro specific Searing Pain spec for tanking. Because there's some specs
Actually,
that
I did half demo, half Destro for the resistances.
Yeah. That's pretty much what I was looking at. That's how you're gonna kind of go with it.
And I was gonna say to what Chanty said, with the demo talents, I think it'd be better to have the Fell Hunter out because it reduces spell damage taken by 10%, better than the Voidwalker.
Yeah,
but the thing is,
2 minutes cooldown, something, 5 minutes.
Yeah, but the Voidwalker thing is it's 1 minute, but with Fell Hunter, it's 10% damage reduction for the whole fight.
Yeah, but the
I mean,
thing is,
you also, if you are going demo, you will also have Soul Link, that 20% less going to the pet. So.
And you can heal your pet too as you do damage. So
yeah.
So it self-sustains.
The only reason I was thinking using the what's it called? The Voidwalker shield is because I don't think the resistances like that 10% spell damage is more worth than like the extra shield, because you can also spec to make the Voidwalker shield better. I don't think it's really that worth it.
How much does the shield for?
I don't actually know with the talent. I don't know actually.
We can calculate this if you test it. I just need numbers.
Yeah. Or
Here,
you have
I have the Ospec. Let me switch specs and pull up the Voidwalker. Which talent are you looking at?
Demonic Brutality, 3 out of 3.
Okay, I have it maxed out. Okay, let me.
And are you wearing your Shadow Resist gear?
I have it on me, but I'll switch it out right now.
No, it's just the shield. It's just the value of the shield. Mostly, how much it is.
Sacrifice 2,500.
Yeah, it's like less than the Shadow Bolt.
2,500, yeah, and then Shadow Ward is only like 900.
Yeah, so like Shadow Ward is like a nice little thing, but like the cooldown and all that stuff, it's better to just stack resist.
Yep.
Yeah.
The boss doesn't auto attack; he only spams Shadow Bolt.
Correct.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, Fell Hunter might be more beneficial than in the long run.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll try it out. I mean, we'll see what works. Like I think all the warlocks will have different specs when they'll try this too.
Yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Do you guys think it's? I think it's worth getting the PvP gloves if you don't already have them.
Less pushback sounds nice to me. I mean, we'll have a concentration aura, I hope too, but we can't rely on it.
I mean, if you're going to spec into Destro for that, in which honestly you should, because of the searing pain, you would also take intensity anyway, which is 70% reduced pushback, so it's still kind of the same thing.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. If they have that talent and there's a concentration aura, that's already over 100% pushback reduction.
So you don't even need to gamble on like the 50% chance. You legit just don't get pushback.
Okay.
I think the main problem that we'll face in this raid is that we'll have to improvise against the bugs, because it's good to make a strategy, but we don't know how well the fight is scripted.
It can be overtuned as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we've dealt with this before. We've always hit roadblocks that also had bugs that we did beat, or we just waited for the bug to disappear. Either way, we're gonna get past this, but don't expect it to be a cakewalk. We're gonna be struggling, and it's gonna be damn good fun. We're gonna actually feel good beating a boss, like real good.
Hope so.
Yep. Highly recommend you, if you haven't done so, start watching videos. Because again, we got 1 week to prepare, and then really a lot of this is just gonna be trial and error. Come in with your strategies, and we might have to tune it based on, again, how hard the bosses actually are and what bugs are occurring, and we'll just have to tackle them from there.
Yeah, post a link in tips and tricks. That's a very brief overview with positional imagery to show you each fight.
Do you guys know if they're gonna do some additional tactics on boss in AQ40?
No.
As far as we know, no.
So.
Okay, so Platinum WoW has a very good guide for all the tactics and stuff.
Great.
I can find it.
Okay. Also, I linked it earlier, but I didn't say anything. If you go to tips and tricks, you probably were pinged. You can go to a post that Cooties also posted about regarding the resistances. Cooties, as far as melee goes, the TLDR, what threshold would you recommend that they aim for?
I think it was, well, I was given numbers based without the 60 buff from Shamans or Hunters. I think it was like 216 or something.
Oh, that resistance number on the left, is that total or is that without the 60?
That's total with buffs.
Okay. I wanted to make sure because I might have been telling Barbara
Yeah,
wrong yesterday.
that's
but
like that's absolute values.
Okay.
Yeah, Gift of the Wild also adds resistances, so is that in the number or on top of it?
No.
No. Oh, you only get 60.
overrides.
Yeah.
What are we getting?
Oh, you only get 60 even if like
60
it doesn't stack.
overrides. It overrides
Right,
Mark
right.
the Wild. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so
So-
you're only getting 60 nature resistance ever on top of whatever you already have wearing.
Right.
So it'll be my gear and then plus 60, right?
Yeah.
Or whatever other buffs that you have. Some people
Okay.
were talking about running a chromatic flask.
Okay.
So yeah,
Cool.
that left-hand number is the total. So what would you recommend for melee, and then what would you recommend for warlock, tanks, and regular tanks?
I don't have any of that written down or anything. I know tanks probably want more than anyone else, but they probably. So if we're just going by the hard stats on that graph there,
Yeah.
They shouldn't go above 340 because it's just a waste.
Yep.
You don't actually gain anything with more resistance to that point. And the differences between vanilla and now is vanilla had 25% caps. So you had to get up to a certain amount before you got that 25%. In Wrath, it was changed to every like 5 or 10% or something. So once you got to up to a certain threshold, you got that like 10% thing. So that's why you see like when you get 130 resistance, you no longer have a chance to not resist spells. You will always resist a certain amount, which is between 10 and 40%. So at the bare minimum, everyone should probably generally aim for like that 130. You can deduct off 60 from it, but which I think was like 70 total from gear. That way you're always resisting between 10 and 40% of the damage. Tanks could probably aim for the 340 mark, which is like 280 or something before the 60.
Yep.
So it's not like a whole lot of resistance for there, but we're like before, we're just gonna have to kind of feel out the fights to see how much we'll actually need, because it might not be that much.
We'll get 250 minimum as a tank at least. We want to have as much as possible.
Yeah, it'd probably be good to start that and then remove gear as we progress through fights, just to kind of get a feel for it. I'm mostly looking at like the mean percentage resistance marks. So I thought melee could probably sit around the 216 mark total with the buff. But that could drop off a little bit depending if we're not killing the boss fast enough. We need more DPS stats. And this mostly only goes for 2 bosses, particularly Viscidus and Huhuron. Viscidus, you're generally going to want most people in Nature Resist gear, just because it just makes the fight a little easier. It's not really a DPS race, it's a do frost damage and then switch your weapons to do AoE damage on the blobs. And that's the whole fight. On Cthulhu, you're gonna need a tank with like the absolute highest nature resistance to be the first one to run in to take the I-beam, so they don't die.
Oh, geez. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, that was kind of the whole strat, is that if the tank is not the first one to run in with high nature resist gear and you target someone else, your whole raid dies basically, because it's like the bouncing beam from Uber's tier 0.5 boss, which I posted a video I think somewhere showing. That's funny. It's pretty funny. That's mostly just for gear. I would say too that those potions should be prioritized in crafting over the greater nature protection potions, just because of how easy they are to make, and the difference in protection is not that much.
Should we
Graders
make
take- What's that?
Should we make a list with all the people that have nature resistance gear ready?
Intimidator was doing that for Team 3. I'm not sure if other teams have picked that up, or if he was doing other teams.
Intimidator was only doing it for Team 3, but he mentioned he barely got many. He didn't get many DMs at all. Got like 4, so not really that successful.
So I don't know
Consider
how
this the
successful
call
it
to
was.
action. If you raid with a group and you're a core member, you need to be going and getting this gear. And please ask for it in the guild bank channel, see what we have, or you might have to farm the mats to get something together. If you don't know what you should be getting for your class, hit up the class channel and throw those questions out there. But a lot of people have been posting where you can get the gear from. Like, a lot of the planning has been kind of thought out for people. You just need to go grab it out of these various Discord channels and you're good to go.
Just be proactive. Don't wait for someone to do it for you.
Don't
Like,
wait
the
the day of raid.
groundwork. Yeah. The groundwork.
Also, who the hell is Kelkar? Is that a new guy? In the Discord.
Yeah, I'm new. Sorry, I'm just a silent partner.
Who are you in game?
Kelkar, the same.
Oh, welcome.
Oh,
Welcome.
Thank you for such a warm welcome.
Welcome.
Oh, yeah. That was pretty much it on nature
Welcome to the
resistance, I
guild.
think.
And get a minute to raid and
Welcome,
pot him
welcome.
here.
Getting even
tomorrow.
even warmer.
Set up a portal and get him here.
Yeah. Summon him.
Please, it's very appreciated sometimes.
Touched. You always say, Army, don't touch.
So are we done with the preparation for AQ? We kind of know what we have to do and stuff, or is there anything else we need to go over quick?
I think that's it. Regarding AQ40, if anybody does happen to have a already roughed out item priority list for, I mean, anything, I do want to get another thread spun up in Discord to talk through some of the priorities. That's one thing that we do want to try to be better about as a guild, and in terms of giving out loot, is trying to have hard to find set. This class and or spec would get prio over this item. I think we can all agree vanilla itemization sucks. It causes a lot of drama.
True.
Something that you wouldn't expect somebody to roll on, and it's their best in slot. On top of that, you got things like Nef's Tear. Nef's Tear is great for healers because the amount of spell power. Same with Rejuve Gem. It's great for spellcasters because they have a ton of spell power. So, you know, I'm sure we're gonna have items like that in AQ40. So if you want to put
We
your 2
will.
cents on priorities, I'll get a thread spun up for that. But it's something that we want to do guild wide.
Lapani, did you see my spreadsheet and website thing I made for that?
Oh man, yeah, send it to me again. I keep losing the stuff that you send me. I'm like, oh, that's great, and then I forget to either pin it or grab it.
Alright, hang on. Oh wait, no, I think Vard pinned it in class. Yeah, it's been in
Discussions class.
Yeah. No, not in discussions, it's a pin.
It's in the discussion tab, and then it's the channel named class. If you check pins there, the top pin is a guide to gearing. That's the one that Kudis made.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I sort of like kind of spitballed all the class and specs that are generally viable and what they should kind of be looking for in Q40. Some of it was changed based on feedback, like the Shaman Elemental chest for T2.5 or whatever was like really good now. Before it like wasn't working, but now it's like really good.
There you go. If you are looking for a list, Kudis has already done the due diligence for you. If you want to discuss with him items that you agree or disagree with, feel free, and then he can get that adjusted. I'm assuming you built this, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
What does spell penetration do?
It is useless for PvE. That's all I need to know.
Perfect.
Basically, it reduces the amount of resistance your target has, but in PvE, you're already given enough buffs that pretty much bring it down to 0, so it's strictly a PvP talent.
Alrighty, I think that's all we got as far as the AQ stuff is concerned. Again, I know I have some threads that I need to open up on Discord so we can talk through some of those things. But does anybody have any other questions or anything else you guys want to discuss regarding AQ,
Yes.
bosses, etc.? Yeah, go ahead.
Sort of. So it's going to be kind of weird. This is going to be tough to kind of sort out. But some of the, I think actually all of the AQ40 sets, not the quest specific weapons or items, stuff like that, they are all rep bound to the Broadmoose or whatever, Brood. Primarily, the people that did Scarab Lord are going to be the first ones to actually like use the sets. I don't know if that gave priority over someone who is still like hated with Brood, that cannot use the set until they do like quite a few AQ40s and some AQ20. Was there going to be any decision making based on rep for lords that got the rep ahead of time and are continuing to be the highest to be able to use items first, or is it just going to be treated as a normal item?
I'll be honest, I don't think we've talked about it or made a decision for the guild as a whole. So I would almost suggest the individual raid leaders and officers maybe decide that for their individual groups.
Yeah, I do think that we should talk about the sets now and discuss what the best sets are, because I've had a couple talks with people. We seem to be leaning towards Shaman, Warrior, and a couple caster sets seem to be the best sets. So maybe we should think about which sets are really the best and people's rep combined. That way we'll make a better decision and not just give like a druid set to someone who happens to have Scarab Lord, right? Like that's not going to help that much. It's not a good upgrade. So we need to talk about these sets and consider which classes get the best bonuses from this.
Okay,
Not-
I'm back. I wanted to ask something. Did we talk about the bug family, the three bugs, and how we will determine which bug we are gonna kill?
Nope.
Should go.
We're not really
with
talking
the-
about boss strategy. We probably want
Okay.
to save that for
No.
individual raid groups.
This
I mean,
is a
it's not.
strategy.
It's not the strategy. It's about more about loot.
Yeah,
from the,
so
from the
bug
bugs.
trio, whatever boss you kill last is the loot you get, and each boss.
Oh yeah. I looked at that actually. Let me bring it up. Everybody go to AQ40 on Atlas Loot if you have it, and I'll talk to you. I'll mention which one I think is the best one in terms of loot.
I did post what I thought was best in terms of loot from the bug trios, and put it on the spreadsheet. I think it was Lord was the best one to kill, then Princess, and then Vem. Actually, no, Vem then Princess. Princess is the one that's one item.
Why is Lord the best?
Lord
looking
has
at
the
the
swift.
Lord and
He has the swift vestive execution for bear tanks,
I mean that's
and
just bear tanks and
then he also has the wand of courage and nobility, which is for
I mean
Frost's
the one
Freeze
is beast.
infliction.
The one is
Yeah.
beast. Yeah.
Other than that, he has like a neck for holy paladins.
That's a ring. That's a
Vem.
ring. That's a ring.
What? No, the neck.
Neck.
Yeah, from Vem. Sorry,
That's from them. That's from them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going over the list of stuff that I have. That's all that was from Lord.
I think the princess has the worst loot. I think looking at her loot, she has the worst.
The only thing she has is the shoulder item for holy paladins. That's it basically.
I mean, the ring is decent for anyone who wants to tank the Twin Emperor.
Sorta. Yeah, I didn't put any emphasis on resistance gear, which some bosses have some pretty good nature and shadow resistance.
Yeah, that's true.
But I didn't really. I was looking more like actual raid stats and stuff like that.
Okay, so far, either the Lord or Vem seem to have the better loot that we should go for early on.
And there is difficulty based on which one you kill last. So we could try the hardest and then do the easier version.
I hate
But
I mean,
so much.
I just wanted to suggest something. Maybe it's stupid, but if we are like if we have no difficulty with killing in them in whatever order, right? Like once we are familiar with the fight and we have the tactics and so on, then my suggestion would be just to everyone rolls, and whoever rolls highest on lowest, whatever we decides what bug we are killing last.
Well, I mean, like at that point, you just skip them. They're an optional boss. If no one actually
Yeah, but they
needs
drop
anything
good
from it-
items still.
Well, yeah, but then you just go by the basis of who needs the item the most. Wouldn't that make more sense? Instead of just leading up to like randomly killing a boss.
I mean, everyone will need. Every caster will basically pretty much want the wand.
Oh yeah. Yeah, generally. I think it would just go down to a basis of like who needs what boss, and then whoever needs the most from that boss kills last. So if like 3 people need Vem and 1 person needs Princess, you just kill Vem. Then if it goes down to like each person needs 1 boss, or if there's an equal amount per boss, then you can do like the free roll between like 1 and 3, and then just randomly go for that one. But at a point, I think there's going to be that no one actually needs anything from those bosses anymore, and they're probably going to be skipped.
Yeah.
If they're not too much of a bother, I do think we will at least do the ones that drop nature as stuff. Just for that alone, could be nice. But besides that, yeah, once we don't need them anymore, we'll probably skip or just do like the ones that drop nature as stuff. But early on, it seems like the Lord and Vem seems to be the best 2 ones to start with. They have really good gear, from what I can tell here. We'll decide from on a team to team basis which ones we want to do first.
Yeah, I think Army brings a good point about the reputation and
Yeah, back to the sets, guys. We need to go back to the sets actually.
I can tell you off the top of my head, the only 2 classes I think that actually are going to use it the most, I think, was Shaman and Rogue. I think Rogue's the only one that actually uses.
Yeah, the
full
head
set.
and chest are best for shamans.
Yeah,
Are we talking like the full set here, or just like random pieces?
You can try it like a per piece basis. Because you know, like even Reds
Because
want
if
the
we're
tiered
talking about
chest.
a per piece basis,
I know tank paladins could use the, or even holy paladins could use the chests for sure. We talked about that. But what about warriors? I mean, a lot of those pieces look really nice too.
I kind of came to the consensus that I was originally team full tier 2.5, and then I kind of shifted stuff around, and it's no longer team tier 2.5. It's like part some. I favored the avoidance and EHP and stuff like that over the 5-piece bonus, which was the thunderclap damage and slow. I didn't think it was valued that much.
If I were to guess, I don't think it would be either.
It's like it can be useful probably in some fights, like the gauntlet that you have to get to go to the whatever boss. That could be good because you need a lot of AoE threat. But other than that, the slow doesn't really matter, and the AoE isn't really huge. Like we already have enough threat as it is. Yeah, for warriors, I think they're going to be using the chest and helm for the tier. I think those are still really good.
What about the shoulders?
No, the shoulders you're going to be using tier 2 actually. Tier 2 shoulders are statted very good.
Do you need to be neutral or exalted?
Don't know.
You need to be neutral for some pieces, then friendly for another, and I think honored for the rest. So.
you need to be
each of the
honored for
pieces have their own.
honored for the gist. Yeah.
Neutral for boots and shoulders, friendly for leggings and headpiece, and honored for chest piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we just agreed with Murderer, for example. For priest, the only good item is the chest, and that requires honored. And I at least haven't got any of the brood rep, so I have no trouble waiting for it.
Do we have any shaman that is a scarab lord? Because if don't, then we can take that off the table of the early drops at least.
It's the chest for shaman I think was only good for elemental on enhance. And the only elemental we have that I know is Geo, which is not here.
It's best for enhance.
Sure.
Wait.
The set looked amazing for enhanced when I looked at it, but I'm not sure.
Let me check.
Oh yeah. Sorry, yes, yeah. It's best for both. Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah.
Yes. So enhance and elemental both are gonna like drool.
But we don't have any shaman that is scarab lord, do we? Or do we?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Recall.
Okay, then maybe we just consider like mage, rogue, like those types of the really good sets, maybe. Maybe a warrior piece here and there, but I think we should consider the people who already have the rep ready to go to just get the gear when they drop.
Can we assume one run in AQ, assuming it's a full clear, of course, will provide you the first level of rep to use those first items?
We don't know.
Probably. Because
I mean,
if
it
I'm not
should.
mistaken. Okay, Shiro, continue.
It should, since like the bugs in AQ should give you a stupid amount of rep, to be fair.
Yeah.
But you,
so
you
every...
start as hated though, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
AQ20 will also start giving rep. They disabled it just because. But I think if I remember correctly, it's like 12,500 or 12,800 for AQ40 full run. And that's without turning in the idols. The idols that drop will give I think it was like 500 rep or 1,000 rep or something like that. They should not be used on anyone. I think that is under friendly or honored, mainly because the only way to get rep past that trash shop's giving it, it's only gonna be bosses and idols type thing, past honored or something like that. Or revered.
Oh, so don't waste them early then. Good to know.
Don't waste them early at all.
Another thing then, if we're gonna get the Stormer rep from all the AQs, reminder to do the Scarab Lord quest line because there's some good upgrades there for people. Like you'll have access to those now. So, when we get the rep, and we start doing Blackwing here and there in other raids, try to get the Scarab Lord quest line done, or at least parts of it. Like get the ring at least. Like the ring is nice.
Also, a reminder that once you get the rep to neutral, you can get a free epic ring from the Anachronos in Tanaris.
Yeah.
And you can upgrade it whenever your reputation increases.
Yeah. Exalted version is pretty good for some classes.
Exalted one is very good for tanks, warriors, and also for paladins.
Yes.
As a good ass rank.
I mean, as a tank, I think you want the strength one, but I'm not sure.
For prot tank, for warrior prot, you're probably going to be using a Curia and the Signet.
Yeah, I don't like the strength one. This one's way better for tanking, in my opinion.
I would gladly use the signet ring of the bronze fright with the strength and its rating.
For what class?
24 stamina.
What class?
For tank warrior.
You should probably be using a Curia. The 20 hit from the ring frees up some.
Oh
other
yeah,
gear.
yeah,
As long as you have
but
a
I will
Curia.
replace my
Oh,
dark-
yeah.
heavy dark iron ring with.
Oh,
the,
yeah.
Yeah, Dragonfly one.
Definitely. I mean, if you have the heavy iron, I mean, even if you have the the ring that drops from Nefarian, Archimetros or whatever the name is.
yeah,
as a warrior, you still should probably replace it. Strength is more
Mhm.
valuable than agility, I think.
Yeah,
You know
you can
what?
shift around other pieces that free up slots and get better overall
Reminding me,
stats.
Totally forgot about that ring.
Yeah, I think all tanks are kind of aiming for a Curia.
And
Yeah,
Lefty.
Ring of Reckoning. Yeah. Never mind it.
But yeah, there wasn't much else in terms of loot. Well, in terms of tiers, I guess we were talking about. I think the only class that's actually going to use the full set is Rogue, because it's just too good.
Yeah, that damage on a wish rate is a lot.
Yeah, plus the stats on the gear itself are very good.
I
As
mean, I
well.
would say maybe Enhancement Shaman if they can get enough hit from other pieces.
Yeah, they couldn't really. I didn't really weigh them at that. I think for them, they're going to take the head, shoulders, and chest from the tier set and just go with the increased damage and lightning bolt and shocks or whatever.
Sounds good.
But the question was on the first run when these idols drop, or sorry, when the class tokens drop or whatever it is, no one can turn them in, and besides the people who did Scarab Lord, because we got our rep early, right? Is that correct?
Correct.
Yes.
So what I told NA yesterday was, if this raid happens to be a pushover, I'm not suggesting it's going to be, but if it is, we're probably not going to get super stringent on who can roll on what. If it does become a problem, we're going to figure out what our problem is: lack of heals, lack of tank mitigation, etc., lack of damage, and then we'll start prioing from there. But otherwise, we're just trying to take a back seat in the prioing portion until we figure out what needs to be solved. Other groups can do whatever they're going to do.
Yeah, as for early on, it's more efficient to give it to the people who have the rep at least. We just got to figure out which class is the smartest to give it to, pretty much.
Yeah, like I said, it's on a basis of class and slot. So if you can use it as a tank for like the head, you don't really need the head. That's the thing. So you shouldn't take it. Even if you could use it, and like the only one that could use it, you could take it, but it probably should go to someone else that's like next in line that's going to be able to use it.
To be fair, if I can say something, there is, as long as we clear the raid, there is really no point to sweat about the items in AQ, since the next important content is Karazhan, and by that time you will replace most of the AQ items with heroic gear. So yeah.
Well, yeah, it wasn't a matter of like needing to use it right away. It was what's the best option to use it as a tool to help progress through raids.
Yeah. I know. I'm just saying that as long as we clear the raid, right? So.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's some items, like I said, that aren't bound by rep, but are still like token drops, which I think some weapons and some shields that some classes are gonna be using.
Yeah, the weapons and the shields are
And I
not.
have Katoon.
Also, I have Katoon.
Yeah, that one we don't talk about because that's gonna be a shit show.
That's
Oh,
gonna be
yeah,
a shit
it
show.
will.
Let's talk about this.
Hey, speak for your own raid group. We got that down pat.
Okay, so from A of Katoon, I'm gonna link all 3 items that you can get out of it. Those are the items. I'm pretty sure we can already agree that the neck is the weakest one, probably,
Yeah.
out of the items.
Yep.
So that's out of the question. That leaves us with the cloak and the ring.
The ring is basically beast for every caster.
Yeah, the
DPS
ring is
mostly.
beastest beast for every caster ever. The
And the
cloak,
cloak is biz for some people too.
the cloak is beast most likely for bear tanks, enhancement shamans, and rogues, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
Yes.
And hence can go with the Puss and Cape that we already have. So
I mean, if you can go with the
Yes,
Puss
yeah.
and Cape, then you can also go with this one.
No, you want Puss
I'm
and
just
Cape.
I'm just
Oh.
gonna the cloak of concentrated hatred that drops from the first boss.
It's not bad, but Pussy is better in terms
Is
of
Puss
stats.
and
Don't tanks like the Fallen God cloak too, though?
they're pretty much equal.
No, tanks either.
No,
gonna-
as a tank you will go either for the concentrated hatred if you want hit, or you will go for there's
Golden Hive.
Golden Hive. Yeah, where is it?
It's somewhere. But yeah, that's like the best like tank
Yeah,
stat one.
here you go. That's the tanking one.
I think I switched Prot Warriors over using Concentrated Hate for the hit, so I could free up some other slots.
I mean, I like hit.
So yeah, that leaves rogues and bears, and we don't
Yeah.
have much of those. So yeah.
So
For the most
basically
part-
caster loot.
Yeah. So for the eye, I think I had down as like I think the highest beneficial user for eye was like a Resto Druid for the ring, and then
The ring
all the-
has hit. The ring has hit.
Yeah. So
Still
look at the
this.
stats. Yeah, the
It's still
stats
this?
overall.
For
yeah.
Rest Druid.
Yeah. Well, and when I prioritize people, I prioritize like tanks and healers than DPS, generally speaking. But yeah, Resto probably the highest for that, and then all the DPS classes, which is like Balance Druid, Frost, Priest, Ellie, and Affliction. And then the Cape probably prioritized towards a bear tank. It's probably gonna take the cloak first, and then Ret and Arms is probably gonna take the cloak, and then lastly
mean-
the amulet is only good for Resto Shaman.
Yeah, I also want to remind people that the Eye of Ketun drops as often as Head of Nefarian. And at this point, we don't even have people to pick up the fucking head. So yeah, it will not be
No.
that much of a problem.
No, it's not actually, because Nefarians is shared between Alliance and Horde, but Eye of Cthulhu is shared between the two factions, so we only get one per raid.
Oh, okay.
We don't get two.
I mean, still.
Yeah, it's 100% drop. It's always gonna drop. So
So 40 rage, everyone will have it. Or 50 rage
Something like that, yeah.
in a team.
You mean 25?
Yeah, we are 25, and like most melees do not even need it.
I can't do math.
What is nothing?
Yeah, I was thinking about the EU teams in total.
Oh.
Since this is the EU meeting, kind of.
They have their but EU has separate teams, so still 25.
Okay, another question. What about the Scepter of the False Prophet and
Jesus
people-
Christ, don't bring that up, please.
Don't bring that up. And people who don't have Lokamir yet?
Yeah,
Ah,
try to
so-
non-Lokamir.
NA is probably going to give the scepter to a non-Lokamir wielder because that's just how it's going to be.
Yeah.
So
We
I
have
would.
one
Yes.
Lokamir.
Good, good. I don't have a Lokamir.
But you have the staff army.
I do, but it's not a Lokamir.
It's not a Lokamir.
Only I
Yeah, I
can
have
only
7
have
classes.
Lokamir in an A.
I have 7 classes that are gonna be fighting for that.
Yeah.
But honestly, I'm not sure if I would replace this stuff with that mace. Depends on the offhand, but what's available.
For disc, you generally are gonna aim for that because your
Oh, I'm
offense can be
Shadow,
really
but
good.
yeah.
She's Shadow now.
See, very, very shadow.
Because the offhand, I think you're gonna go for is
But both disc and shadow like the crit, and the staff has a lot of crit and better stats.
I believe that's the offhand you're gonna be looking for as disc. And yes, Priest is gonna take it too, or the scepter.
For the eye, I would let the casters and resto druids roll for it equally. I think would be fair to them.
I'm joking.
Yeah.
Well, again, we'll make a channel. We can hash that out. Again, officially, we don't have anything across the guild, but always know that the individual raid groups themselves and their raid leaders and officers can determine how they want to switch it up. But
Oh.
yes, I would like to get either utilize cooties as the rough framework that the guild follows for prio lists, or get a single sheet for every single item.
I did do a sheet for every single item. It's in the cheat sheet link. It's a spreadsheet. Top right.
Oh, I see it now.
Yes, that one has the landing page is like what class should be looking for what boss, and then down below is like every boss's loot, and then prioritize per class.
Oh, I thought I saw it. Where is it in tips and tricks?
Class pin. Did you find it?
Oh, I gotcha. It's the it's your AQ40 upgrade list. Yeah, okay.
By the way, how does the other, there's a quest for like a weapons, right? How do those work?
Yes. There's different bosses that drop different, like neutral stuff, I guess, or something like that. I don't have it on hand. Imperial, those ones.
Yeah, it's a different drop rate from each boss.
Yeah, many bosses have those two specific. Oro has Oro's and tactile legs, or it's for the leg pieces.
It's like CG stuff. You got to get a special drop, and then you have to get all the crap that goes with it and turn them in.
Yeah, it's not bad. No, actually. The Imperial ones, I believe, just need 3 Elementium ore in the item, and you get whatever reward it is. The other ones, I think, follow the Scarab and Idol rule set from like AQ20 pieces. Or like the tier pieces as well, or something. The weapon from the Imperial Regalia, I think, went to Prot Paladins, but the shield and weapon one, which is Armaments, went to Prot Paladin or Prot Warrior or Assassin or Enhance. Because there's a lot better stuff on that one.
That is the enhancement axe you're talking about.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah.
Can you
Really
complete the
good.
quest multiple times?
I don't think so.
Okay, so you can. I mean, because the axe is not unique, so I was thinking that maybe you can have to.
Greedy.
Just asking.
Well, shield for sure should be given to tanks who don't have the Elementium reinforced one. It's pretty much the same shield, stat-wise.
It's better, but yeah.
It's better, yeah.
But not like I said before, like most of these items outside weapons, you're not going to see like a huge drastic improvement. Most of this is like small little step ups, like tiny step ups.
You might be able to do it twice because, as I recall, the guys are like vendors, and you're essentially buying the things from them in exchange for these. But it's hazy. I can't remember. I remember you had to get past a certain boss, and then something opened up, and then you got access to these guys, and they had a quest, but they also were essentially vendors if you got these drops. It was that was when they rolled that out for the first time, but it was a lot like the ZG stuff, where it's not necessarily a quest. I could be totally wrong.
So the quest is repeatable and does not require any rep.
Nice.
So yeah,
I'm getting the dagger then. Shit.
You know, why do you want the daggers to tank?
I'm a dagger tank.
If it goes the way Black Knight Lair does, we're all going to be getting multiple of this shit.
Yeah.
It's pretty low drop chance though. Like 1% from the first boss. I think it's 7 from the second.
We're on private server values. It could be anything.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
The first bosses before you get in there and open up the guys are kind of like the trash bosses. After that, they drop these things a lot more regularly, I believe. Or they did. I guess that's always the caveat.
Oh, right. What is the consensus on the Barb of the Sand River? I'm mostly asking hunters.
Hunters
Tanks.
don't need it. Or
Hunters don't need it. Okay, so it's bear prio. Thank you.
Hunters take the one weapon from the AQ20 quest line, and the offhand is going to be the Silithid Claw from AQ40. They need the axe, or they need the AQ20 3-piece because of the increased pet damage, as I think BM is going to be the top spec in AQ40.
Did we discuss about the war bosses? Like if we will stop doing it during the progression?
I mean, we are mostly doing them after ZG usually, so maybe we can
We need
keep
them
doing
for
that.
the nature resistance gear.
Also
I
that.
mean,
I
you
think
gotta
at some
keep in
point
mind
we will not
that
need them anymore.
I'd say for now we keep doing them together with the CG days, just for the nature rest and a couple upgrades. But besides that, yeah, we might tone it down later.
also keep in mind AQ40 also has some nature resistance.
Yeah, that's true. They have a lot of pieces that give nature rest too.
At one point, we might not even do the world bosses anymore. Maybe just some of them. Like, I don't know. Maybe Emiris for the druids, for like bear tanks or something. That one the helmet. I'm not sure if they have anything better, but who knows? I'm not a druid.
Scrowman, with the rep farm, you can get only 2 honored, I think. So
Yeah, the trash stops giving rep after a certain level. The bosses continue. That's why I was saying save the little idle things that drop because they give rep past that. So
We'll just collect them like we did with the Bijus, right? I mean, you can just they're tradable, right?
they should be.
think so.
I mean, Scrowman, we first need to see how much rep you are getting from the AQ. I'm pretty sure it will be quite a lot. Like every single bug should give you, I don't know, 100 or something. It's really stupid. So the rep should not be a problem, and you will not wait. You will not wait long for the items.
So the rule in vanilla was you hoarded any of the turn-ins that gave rep until the trash stopped giving rep. Then you turned them all in.
generally,
That's also kind of what you did for like Argent Dawn rep, which
Yeah,
was
yeah.
fucking easy on this server, and people probably don't experience how much of a pain in the ass farming up that rep was in vanilla.
I do. I was surprised.
yeah, it's basically saving all the scourge stones and stuff after a certain threshold.
Any other AQ questions or loot questions?
Or AQ loot questions?
I got one question.
Yes.
How much time we will raid, like in a progressive raid? Because it will take some time until we get over the bugs and so on.
Usually we went 4 hours max. If we went over 4 hours, we took a break for the day.
Sounds good for me.
It's going to be for each raid to determine amongst themselves, honestly.
Exactly. That's mostly it. Like in Team 1 when we were struggling with Domo and stuff, it took like 4 hours and then we took a break and did it like the next day. I don't remember exactly, but yeah. The general idea is 4 hours tops.
It depends on if people have stuff in the morning to do, stuff like that. I mean, we're not gonna if you have work and stuff, we're not gonna force you to stay up, but expect at least minimum 3 hours of raiding every progression day, minimum.
I hate to give too many stories from vanilla days, but this does ring a bell because we would start raiding on Saturday morning at like 8 in the morning and do it all day till like 10 or 12 hours and hope to get past Baron Geddon.
Yeah, I think it's better to have some sort of a max cap of how many hours you raid at one time, because once you go past a certain threshold, people just start to get tired and cranky, and you're not really progressing when you're like that. So it's
Some people do.
Some people maybe do.
Dude, I couldn't stand classic vanilla when I was playing with like a dad guild. They're like, yeah, we're just gonna raid for 4 hours and call quits. I'm like, what? This is progression, dude. You're here for 10 hours. What are you talking about?
Well, at least no one should be discriminated or have wanting to leave at the 4-hour mark, for example.
And when I signed up, I thought this was a hardcore kick you if you don't want to raid guild. What is this?
I don't think you got the memo then.
Sorry to disappoint you with our impotence.
Yeah.
If you'd like, we could kick you out just for a little bit.
Is there someone more hardcore than us?
We are mythic hardcore.
The reality is this server beats down people who are massively progress as fast as you can because you run out of shit real quick.
Yep.
Which
This
I
is no
like.
fresh community.
Well, it's just not hard enough is the problem.
Yep.
If you were back in vanilla days, it was hard enough that you could throw 20 hours, 25 hours a week into the raids and not finish them for months.
You also play the game, the FPS.
Very, very quiet person. Homo?
Yeah, you're pretty quiet.
No, super
Quiet.
Super
Yeah.
quiet.
I have the mic right in front of me.
There we go. Now it works.
He's shy. Be
No?
nice to him.
I said to Nord, well, you guys were playing the game 20 FPS at best at that time.
Oh yeah,
You're old?
Yeah, I am old. Half the no, actually, the real hardcore people were they were EverQuest junkies who jumped over, right? And EverQuest was really brutal. So you fuck up once and nobody talks to you ever again, type shit.
Yeah.
Oh, so that was like the old Neckbeard game, yeah. Like Fedora.
Yeah, they had a boss that was created that was unkillable, but the most hardcore guild spent 3 days killing it. Like non-stop action.
Yeah, it was also rough because, like, if you died or something, there were severe penalties, like you lost all your gear, shit like that. Like,
I think it was
dying
XP loss.
was a bigger deal.
By the way, guys, if we are taking a little break, I wrote it in the chat, but could anyone who has had Cartoon Network in their childhood lay down a campfire because it doesn't exist as it did today?
What do you mean, like spiritually or physically?
No, it's
Phys-
dead.
They will remove it.
Some merger with Warner Bros.
Alright.
Sadly.
I mean, that's good. I mean, like,
Campfire coming.
they're pretty
Yeah,
much a dead
Campfire as
channel.
well.
They're pretty much a dead channel after they started incorporating really, really bad shows.
It's mostly because of the new rules for the kids.
Well, Nick's
Like
probably doing fine.
a lot of
Rip.
shows were removed or abandoned it because there was like, I don't know how to say it, not for kids.
They were
They were not appropriate.
Exactly.
According to the new rules.
Yeah.
And then we are here like growing up on shit like Johnny Bravo and then the end. Yeah.
Or even generally like Disney movies. A lot of them nowadays would be considered, if not pornographic, but there's like what's that?
Inappropriate.
Hatred,
offensive,
offensiveness,
yeah.
inappropriateness, all that stuff. Like
I
I was
mean,
a kid.
most
Believe
of
me now.
them have romance and things that a kid don't know what's going on. They're like drama and so on.
So
And-
the
and-
Song of
and
the
that's-
South is the classic racist Disney film. It was made in the early 1940s, and the amusing thing, well, maybe not amusing, but it was 1940, so that's 82 years ago. Well, 82 years before that was the Civil War in the United States. So, there was a lot different attitude towards blatant racism when that movie was made.
In other words, people are becoming snowflakes and getting offended by everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Actually, which warlocks do need Shadow Bolt still? We have one more tome left to give out.
The TV companies can't risk it. So there you go.
So one of the things that actually happened was there was a law passed in the United States regarding advertising to children. And a lot of the cartoons and shows I watched as a child were actually bankrolled by toy companies as essentially a toy ad. G.I. Joe, Transformers, all these old classic 1980s shows were just ads to children. And that was outlawed, which is why you got a different vintage of shows that weren't tied to any sort of toy directly, is they couldn't be by law, and that changed a lot as well.
Yeah, Disney was exactly the same way. They never made a product that wasn't intended to be something to be sold in stores.
What about Beyblades?
What about them?
I mean, I'm pretty sure that the American law does not work for the Beyblade. Is it an anime or-
It turns out American Hollywood production is so dominant in the world that American law tends to affect the production of places that don't even speak English, because they're ultimately made by some Hollywood thing, and once you cut the tethers of funding for shit, it gets messed up.
Anyway, we're done with all the main topics. The only topics remaining are only for Team 3 members. We'll be going into our own separate channel and discuss that stuff there. So maybe it's time we start moving along and do that. So how about we move to the Team 3 raid, the people who are in that team, so we can start discussing the issues we have there, if you all are fine with moving now. And then after that's done, we can do after meeting activities.
Did you have any plans for that, Vard? Meeting up anywhere?
Well, what we decided was having we have so much to discuss that having a transmog contest at the end of this one would be too much. So we're gonna move it to Halloween, or the weekend before Halloween. We'll give you a date.
Exactly in the Halloween day, because yes.
Halloween, it's like cosplay, but for children.
So get some spooky transmogs going, guys.
Spooky, scary skeletons. And I forgot the rest.
All right. If you're Team 3, go ahead and hop up to the Team 3 channel, and for everybody else, feel free to stick around. Once Team 3's done, we can see what we want to do. But otherwise, main meeting's over. That's all the information. Axel post the video up if anybody did miss it. And I will get the threads open for discussions on the things that we did talk about.
Now get the fuck out of a pony's raid.
Get out of my
Like
way.
gas.
All right, Team 3, let's switch to the other channel.
I guess anyone can listen if they want to.
Oh, it's not private, but let them discuss. Just that's it.
Yeah.
So is the meeting the official meeting done?
Adjourned.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
All right. Good talk.
So for everyone who's leaving, thank you for sticking around and listening and giving advice and asking questions.
Leave a like and subscribe.